We were working quite a bit on public architecture. We've been working on public architecture since the founding of the firm. And ABA was seen and had a reputation for facilitating really complex public issues, and the agency asked us if we would lead the effort with the feasibility and task force team to define whether this was possible. And so that led us on a journey where I met the director of the library who had just started her job. Her name is Jane Light. And she said, your job is not to ask, if we should do this, but really how. That led us on a 2-year journey, 160 meetings, bringing librarians from both institutions to the table and really work through how to create a joint use, seamlessly service library to our community. And through this work, our first library projects ended up being the first of its kind joint use library in the United States of America, and 500,000 square feet.
Libraries to me are a place, they've always been a place that supports lifelong learning. Ever since I was a child all the way through adulthood, now with my own children. So if there's one place that really keeps me inspired every day, it's the fact that I get to design spaces that support other people in learning something new every day of their life. So for me, that's really a really inspirational part of designing library spaces.
In times of tension and crisis, libraries step up to fill that gap, to adapt and look at what the community needs and find ways to bring those resources to everyone.
The way we talk about it, the way we think about it is that our ears are our best design tools. We've talked about the whys, we've talked about the whats. What we're here to do is create the wheres, the places that the hows can happen. And it's through that listening that we look for those nuances that allow for us to make sure we get it right. We have taken the wants, the needs, the desires of the community, of the users, of the people who are paying for the project, and we've distilled it down into what is a highly functioning space where everybody's needs are met. Where the users, the people in the buildings, where they find out about things that they had no idea were happening. It's those wonderful little happenstances of bringing function and style and design where they just get to excel with what they do in the spaces that we've created.
The biggest measure of a successful project is the community response. If the community can see themselves reflected in their library, if they can see their words and their concerns reflected back at them in the spaces that we designed, that is one of the most gratifying things about doing library design is having the community feel heard.
Success is going to be different for every project, and I think it's really important to take the time at the beginning and define what success looks like for you. So thinking about what are the key things that you'll want to achieve. So as you look at different options moving forward, you'll be able to have a more open, transparent, and even objective discussion about what option will best achieve success for you.
Community outreach really provides the conduit for true alignment of what the library services need to be to align to the community needs. And we really have to start with what the community needs are first, to have a library that supports any given community. So in effect, really having a successful community engagement effort starts with these needs, and then it seeks to create programs and services, and finally the spaces that are needed to provide those services at the very end. So it's really about getting to the why before we can get to the how and the where.
3 key steps to make sure our outreach process is effective. We begin by listening. asking questions, diving deeper with the community to find out what's important, what needs to be achieved with any project. Then we make sure we've understood what they've said. We come back with what we've heard and, again, listen to make sure that we've really captured what the community was saying. And finally, as we move forward with a design solution and implement an idea, we go back and we close that loop. We show the community where we took their input and used it and really applied what we learned and heard so that they can see that they were a part of the solution and have a fully transparent process that everyone can believe in.
This idea of embracing beyond the book. It's not, libraries are not just about books anymore. Libraries are not just hushed places for reading. They're active places. They're places for different types of learning. I also love that libraries are a place that are speaking out and they're embracing diversity, inclusion, and social justice. That was one of the big themes, or the big theme of PLA this last year. Got to go for the first time in Nashville right before the pandemic really hit us. And that has really stuck with me, is that theme of making sure that libraries are inclusive for all people.
They're the test points of the future. They're the place where people have access to things as they come out new and learn how to use them. And they're the places where people can come together. I think the library used to be, again, a place where books sat, where knowledge sat, where I went to go find out things. And more, I think the library is a stronger or bigger piece of the community and public realm, where I look to the space itself as being a place where I can come and meet people who I need to meet.
I have to say that librarians are some of the most amazing people I've ever had a chance to work with. They are the most helpful group of professionals I think I know, up there with teachers and educators. And to me, libraries are a place where you can seek help on literally anything and make some progress to at least get pointed in the right direction.
Libraries have always been a place where you can find the book and the information, and they always will be. But they've transformed into a place of community, and they're a respite. We have seen examples in our libraries where senior citizens are actually afraid to be at home because of, let's say, gang violence or other issues within their city. And they look to the library as a safe place that they can go and be with other citizens. It's also a place where children are exploring early literacy, but importantly too, and especially in economically diverse communities, where parents are learning to parent, where parents are learning how to and how important it is to read to their children. So it is a place of societal change. It's a place of supportive, free services that are the foundation of who we are as a country.
Libraries are spaces that are designed and built specifically for the people that are going to use them, for the specific communities that they're part of. And the entire process of designing, building the library, talking to the community, learning from the community, gives us a direct connection to those people.
I love designing libraries because of what libraries do for our communities. They're really the first responders. They're the ones that can pivot and change services as needed. And really, I'm fascinated by how they have transformed over the years. So the more I learned about librarians, about library services, and how they have changed the world that we live in through their services, the more that I really fell in love with it, both them and the design work of libraries.